Good morning, everybody. This morning I'm interviewing Kent County Councillor Barry Lewis, and you've probably heard in the news recently that Barry has been banned from standing as a Labour candidate in the next Kent County Council elections, which are in May next year. And that's after representing Margate as a Labour candidate at Kent County Council for 7.5 years. So what went wrong? Why did they ban you, Barry?
I think I was too successful. They couldn't get me on my policies and my record, so they made up 3 lame excuses.
And what were those?
Well, first of all, they accused me of being a racist.
Really?
Even though I've been in a mixed marriage for 47 years.
Wow.
Secondly, they called me homophobic because unbelievably, they called me homophobic because I sponsored a gay event.
Wow.
And third, they accused me of betting.
All right.
And saying I was illegally betting. But betting is a legal pastime for millions of people. And, you know, a lot of people gamble on the lottery and go into betting shops.
Yeah. I mean, that's strange.
This was malicious in its attack on me. But the real reason was that I opposed the government's policies and the local MP's support for the government policy on 2 things, mainly. One was imposition of the winter fuel tax cuts, and also that there was hypocritical views expressed by Polly Billington, because on one hand she was supporting my campaign to save the Millmead, and on the other hand voting to keep the Tory policy of a 2-child cap, which was impoverishing the same people she was supposed to be defending on the Millmead.
Absolutely, that's amazing. Can I just dig a little bit further into some of this? Well, witch hunt, I suppose, is a word.
Exactly.
I'd like to dig a little bit further into this. I mean, there's all sorts of rumours been circulating from the Labour Party, some of which seem to have found their way into various publications. But looking at the alleged homophobia.
If I can explain it in detail.
Yeah, if you could, because there is another thing I wanted to chase up on as well. But
the Kent County Council have a fund which councillors use to fund events, and that's scrutinised by Kent County Council.
Yeah.
So a year ago, I sponsored a event at Olby's in the town centre.
Ah, yes, yeah.
Which was organised by the gay community.
Yeah.
I went along to it, invited 2 district councillors, friends of mine, good friends of mine.
Yeah.
And who in turn invited Alex Williams, who was the campaign manager at the time for Polly Billington.
Oh, that name rings up. Is he now the organiser for Kent?
Yes.
Right.
And after the evening coming to an end, the compere said, "Thank you very much, Councillor Barry Lewis, for sponsoring it." Mm-hmm. And 100 of the audience, mainly gays, I presume, started clapping, cheering, and shouting out my name.
Yeah.
One of the councillors turned around to me and said, "Well done, Barry." I said in return, as a joke, I said, "That's the gay vote sorted out."
Yeah.
Alex Williams, this is a year ago, overheard the conversation, didn't say anything at the time.
Right.
In that year, I supported Polly as the Labour candidate, went out canvassing.
Yeah.
And then a year later, excuse me, he uses it as one of the reasons why I should be barred from standing. That's called a witch hunt.
It is, yeah. So at the time you made that comment,
he made no comment.
He didn't say, "Well, that could be construed as being homophobic."
Yeah, he laughed at the joke.
He laughed at the joke.
And now he's twisted it and
used it as a
quoted quoted me out of context.
That's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
Could I dig a bit further? I mean, I don't mean to focus on this. We'll move on to other stuff. But there are rumours which I've heard, and I'm not in the Labour Party. In fact, I campaign against the Labour Party because I'm not keen on Starmer either. But there are rumours circulating which come from the Labour Party that you allegedly made a homophobic comment to the new MP, Polly Billington. And I've heard that from several sources now. Have you got anything you'd like to say on that?
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, right. But it certainly seems like there's a rumour mill working.
Well, yeah, there's a smear. There's smears.
Yeah.
But, they can't attack me on my record as a councillor, so they put these false smears around.
Right, and that's the same for the allegation about the racist comments you're alleged to make. I mean, could you let us know a bit more about that?
Well, yeah, that in detail was I became friendly with a Labour Party member who happened to be Nigerian.
Yeah,
he invited me on 2 occasions to go to Nigerian events, one in the restaurant in Cliftonville, one at his friend's house in Meergate area.
Yeah.
I got him to come first time canvassing.
Yeah.
And I said to another Polly's campaign team, I said, this is going to be a great opportunity because he wants me to get Polly to come and visit the Nigerian community, which is about 200 strong, and meet them. And I said, I think if we do, we got 200 votes in our pocket.
Yeah.
That's been construed as being racist.
That really gives the impression of, well, I can't think of the words to describe it, that they're using your language to then say that you're racist, you're homophobic.
Yeah, it was a show trial. The whole process is a show trial.
It really is. And then, of course, the political differences that you've got. I mean, who would you see within the Labour Party in Thanet? It looks to me like there's been a sort of Starmerite takeover, and
yeah. Up to 2 years ago, before we had a candidate, we had a friendly disagreement. We discussed things like Gaza. We discussed things like Diane Abbott.
Yeah.
But now we're not. It's a dictatorship.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to discuss anything of importance. So there's no point in being a Labour Party member, because a long time ago Labour Party policies weren't discussed. But now, if the Labour Party members can't choose their own candidates, there's no point in being a membership. And therefore, that's one of the reasons why the membership locally and nationally is halved since Starmer's got to power.
And you're not the only one, as far as I can gather, reading the local media. You're not the only Kent County Councillor who's
other people can speak for themselves, but I know of 4 people, including myself, in Margate alone, let alone Thanet, who have been barred.
Good Lord. So that there's a real root and branch witch hunt going on for people who...
Well, I think it's slightly different to that. I think the people that the hierarchy, the right wing of the Labour Party, who are supporters of Polly Billington.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily Polly Billington's involved, but supporters of Polly Billington and Starmer have chosen who they want as their robotic candidates.
Yes.
And anybody that's not on the list and they see as a danger, they will eliminate, and they would just put a token opposition to them, very much like Putin does in Russia.
Wow. So I can see that parallel, actually, yeah. Because, I mean, the little bit of reading I've done around about this subject, there seems to be what's happening in Margate and in Thanet, it seems to be happening in many other parts of the country.
We saw what happened with Diane Abbott. We saw what happened at Brighton.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's just a terrible state of affairs within the Labour Party, non-democratic, and the members ignored about who their candidates are, or their choice of candidates.
Since I've been deselected, a number of people in the local Labour Party have resigned and have promised support and work with me in April, May, to get a democratically elected councillor rather than someone that has been chosen by the establishment of the Labour Party.
Yeah.
So people will have a choice. And one of the things, the irony is given the unpopularity of the government, I think I've got more chance of winning as an independent than I have if I stood as the Labour Party candidate.
Well, that actually happened in the general election, didn't it? That people were running against Labour, notably Jeremy Corbyn, but other people as well stood against the Labour Party and the Conservative Party and were elected to Parliament.
The difference between me and some Labour councillors is I work within the community. Right? I'm a servant of the people of Margate. I'm not the servant of the Labour Party hierarchy.
Yes. Which leads me on to the next thing I was going to ask you, and I think you've indirectly answered it. Are you still a member of the Labour Party now?
No, I resigned, and it was a wrench. It's like a bad marriage.
Yeah.
I was a member of the Labour Party. I joined in 1977, so that was 47 years ago. And like anybody in a bad marriage, you regret that you had to divorce because you remember all the good times.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to make that hard decision.
Yeah.
It was a hard decision, but I can't go out canvassing with a red rosette anymore because Starmer has trashed the brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as an ex-Labour Party member myself, I do share your views that the brand, whatever that brand was, is definitely not what I remember it to be either, Barry.
No.
So you've now quit. So the next step on the journey for you, I'm guessing, is that you're going to stand as an independent candidate next year.
Yes. It's going to be interesting.
I can imagine.
But it gives me the freedom to say what I believe. For example, with the Labour Party, I've had to defend the mayoral system we've got. Yeah, I can't say anything. I couldn't say anything about the destruction of the farmland.
Yeah.
Right. I was criticised by the local Thanet Council, led by Rick Everett, about my opposition to Thanet Parkway.
Yeah.
Right, but I've now got the freedom to express my 100% beliefs rather than be looking over my shoulder.
So you're feeling a great sense of freedom now?
Yeah, as I say, it's like being single again after being in a bad marriage.
Well, I think that takes us where we need to be, bar one more question. Put yourself forward by about 4 months, 5 months, and what policies do you think you're going to be campaigning on when you're standing as an independent for Kent County Council?
One, that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. In that I mentioned the farmland, the destruction of the prime agricultural needs. I will stand on my record, and I will listen to the people of Thanet rather than listening to what I'm told to do by people like Polly Billington, Keir Starmer, and people who are working against the interest of the people of Margate. So putting Margate up there first, second and last.
Barry Lewis, currently independent councillor for Kent County Council. Been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure we're going to have another interview during your campaign. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you, Barry.